You've got big dreams, right? You've got the ambition, the drive, the vision, but let's be fiercely honest for a second. How many times have you mapped out this incredible master plan, felt an absolute rush of adrenaline, and then just kind of quietly abandoned it a week later? Yeah, you bury the shame, push it down, and pretend you just changed your mind. But what if I told you your ambition isn't the problem here? The problem is a hidden psychological trap you are walking into every single time you get a new idea. Welcome to today's Explainer. We are exposing a massive mental glitch that is quietly destroying your potential. Think about your own life. Have you ever been so fired up about a new business idea or maybe a fitness goal or a creative project that you immediately texted your friends? You posted about it online, you told your family, you announced it to the world. And man, in that moment, you felt absolutely unstoppable. But the next morning, when it was actually time to sit down and do the hard, unglamorous work, you felt completely paralyzed. The motivation just vanished. Okay, let's dive into this because understanding this crazy drop in energy is the absolute key to unlocking your actual success.
And this is exactly why you keep failing. It's not a lack of discipline. It's not because your goals are too big. It's actually because of a fatal mistake you make in the very first step of your journey. To understand the profound neuroscience behind this, we're going to look at a really powerful story about a young guy named Simon, because his story perfectly mirrors the exact loop you are currently stuck in.
Section 1. The Cycle of Fake Success.
So, Simon lived in a small village, and honestly, just like you, he was incredibly ambitious. He wasn't lazy at all. He had massive, world-changing dreams. He possessed this frantic, buzzing energy that made him want to just conquer the world. But his life was this blur of manic project hopping. Week 1, he's absolutely certain he's going to open the biggest shop in the village. Week 2, the shop is completely forgotten, and suddenly he's pivoting to become a master potter. Week 3, pottery is out, and he's going to build an entirely new house. He was constantly starting over. Sound familiar? The side hustles, the new workout routines, those endless, fresh starts? Simon was moving at 1,000,000 miles an hour, but he was going absolutely nowhere.
The core of Simon's problem was a deeply addictive pattern. Before he ever lifted a single finger to work, he'd gather everyone in the village square and loudly broadcast his plans. "I'm going to open the biggest shop," he'd shout. And the villagers? Well, they did exactly what your friends do when you post a big announcement. They clapped, they praised him, they told him how brilliant he was. Simon would go to bed feeling intensely proud, like a total conquering hero. But the very next morning, the magic evaporated. His energy just flatlined. He literally couldn't bring himself to even touch the clay or the tools.
Now, this pattern wasn't just some quirky habit. It was a tragedy. For years, people celebrated his words, but as this quote captures so perfectly, his hands stayed empty. His life did not change. I mean, imagine the heavy, crushing weight of that shame. He felt totally stuck, completely confused as to why his massive ambition never translated into reality. He was drowning in a sea of applause, but completely starving for actual accomplishment.
If you've ever felt that exact same shame, that heavy heart, you need to hear this right now. Your brain is literally lying to you. Simon wasn't a failure, and honestly, neither are you. You are both victims of your brain's own biological reward system. To understand exactly how this lie works, we've got to look at a profound intervention that changed Simon's life forever. Section 2. The 2 Seeds Experiment.
So, seeing Simon sitting there alone, totally crushed by his repeated failures, a village elder stepped in. But he didn't offer some cheesy motivational speech. He offered a physical demonstration. He took Simon into his garden and pulled out 2 small seeds. The test was incredibly simple but profound. He told Simon to take the first seed, dig a hole, place it in the dark, silent soil, and cover it up completely. It had to remain hidden. But the second seed? The elder took it, placed it high up on a rock right in the open sun, and called over the nearby kids. He showed it off, bragging about this beautiful tree it was going to become. And of course, the children clapped and cheered for the seed on the rock.
Let's track what actually happened to the seed that got all that attention. It was left out in the open, basking in the sunlight and the applause. But without the protection of the earth, it quickly dried up in the blazing sun. Birds swooped down and picked it apart. Despite all the cheers and the grand announcements of what it would be, it never sprouted. It never grew a single root. It literally died exactly where it was placed on that pedestal. Now, what's really interesting about this is the stark contrast with the hidden seed. It was kept in total silence. Nobody cheered for it. Nobody even knew it was there. It was protected by the dark, heavy soil. The elder watered it quietly with zero fanfare. And because it was sheltered from all that noise and exposure, it quietly drove its roots deep into the ground. It grew into a strong, resilient, living plant. The secret to its survival wasn't sunlight, it was secrecy.
Which brings us to Section 3, Why Your Brain Lies.
The elder seeds perfectly reflect human ambition. The absolutely crucial trap here is premature gratification. This is the mind-blowing trap you fall into every single day. See, when you announce a goal and people clap for you, your brain releases dopamine. This is the exact same chemical reward your brain is supposed to give you after you do the hard work. But by talking about it, you're hacking your brain's reward system. You get all the dopamine up front. Your mind literally tricks itself into feeling like the goal is already achieved. And because you already feel successful, your brain just shuts off the motivational fire you actually need to execute.
As the elder told Simon, the energy you need for action gets wasted in words. And wow, this is devastatingly true. Ambition is a finite resource. It's this fragile, combustible energy meant to fuel your late nights, your early mornings, and grueling effort. But the second you open your mouth, you vent that precious energy right out into the atmosphere. You are literally talking your dreams to death. This was Simon's tragic, heartbreaking realization. He finally understood why he kept quitting. He wasn't lacking capability, not at all. He was just addicted to the rush of fake success. The applause in the village square was enough of a dopamine hit to completely satisfy his brain. He never actually needed to finish a project because the social validation made him feel finished before he even started.
Section 4, The Power of Silent Discipline.
But awareness is only the first step, right? Now we must rewrite the script. Simon's story doesn't end in failure, it pivots into a masterclass on how to actually build the life you want. Simon developed what we'll call his quiet protocol. Step 1, he chose one simple, tangible goal. In his case, building a wooden chair. Step 2, and honestly this is the absolute hardest part, he told no one. No announcements whatsoever. Step 3, he worked in the quiet corners of his life, entirely removed from the village's gaze, zero pressure, zero external expectations. And Step 4, he allowed himself to feel real pride. Pride that generated from the friction of doing the work, not the hollow rush of speaking about it.
And this brilliantly illustrates the total transformation in Simon's psychology. He traded the cheap, fleeting dopamine of empty pride, the rush of words, for something infinitely more powerful. He discovered the quiet, enduring satisfaction of building something real, making mistakes in the dark, fixing them in the dark, and finally holding a finished, tangible object in his hands. That is the difference between a cheap dopamine spike and deep, lasting fulfillment.
Watch how this silent discipline compounds over time. Without that energy leak of talking, Simon's focus became unbreakable. Weeks later, the chair was finished. Months later, because he kept his mouth shut and his hands busy, he completed a table, a shelf, and a stool. Years later, he was no longer the village joke. He became a highly respected master craftsman. His actions finally spoke for him, and let me tell you, they echoed far louder than his words ever could.
Section 5, Build Your Empire in Silence.
Simon's journey from a frantic dreamer to a quiet master is the exact roadmap you need to follow. Look at this question and really let it sink in. How many brilliant, life-changing dreams have you shared too early, only to watch them fade away like that seed on the rock? How much of your potential have you sacrificed just to get a few fleeting claps from people who won't even be there when it's time to do the work? Every single time you announce your plans, you are giving away your power. You're letting the reactions of others replace the hard reality of your own effort.
So here is your challenge, starting right now, this very second. The next time you feel that burning, urgent urge to tell everyone about your massive new idea, stop. Close your mouth. Protect your dream. Dreams are incredibly fragile at the beginning. They need the dark soil of your silent effort to actually take root. Do not post about it. Do not text about it. Just go to work. Let the seed grow in darkness, and let your final, undeniable results do absolutely all the talking. The world doesn't need to know what you are building. It only needs to see it once it's built. So ask yourself, what empire will you finally build once you learn to stay silent?